With regards to manipulating shapes, one of the things you'll most want to do is duplicate a shape. For example, if I click on this shape here and I need a second shape that has the same font and paragraph attributes and the same width and height as this shape, then I'll simply press Control D. Control D gives me a duplicate, and then I can move that shape wherever I want it placed. Now, besides Control D, let me just press the delete key and delete that shape. You can also hold the Control key and drag a shape, and that will make a copy of a shape. So Control drag, let me do that again, is one way to duplicate a shape. Another way is Control D to duplicate a shape. And another way is the good old copy and paste. And that gives you a shape as well. So there's a variety of ways that you can create a shape. Now when I go to move the shape, you'll see some auto-align features appear. For me, these green lines, and sometimes they're orange, they're telling me that I'm lined up horizontally and vertically and through the middle of that shape. So these two are in direct alignment. This is out of alignment when I move up and down, but as soon as I come down and hit a certain point, now I'm lined up. If I was to drag closer, I'm now in alignment with the shape above. So there are some align options or alignment lines that appear as you're dragging shapes or moving shapes, which are really useful to help you put it in the correct location. And as you saw, just deleting a shape is a matter of clicking it and pressing the delete key on your keyboard. If you want to bring that shape back, you do have a button here on your quick access toolbar called Undo Delete. It's actually called Undo. If I click the button, it'll undo my last action. If I click it again, it'll undo a series of actions. In fact, it'll undo the last 20 things you've done. And then this button here will redo the last 20 actions I've done, till eventually it goes dim because I'm right back to where I started. So if something goes wrong, simply click the Undo button. The shortcut key for undo is Control Z, and the shortcut key for redo is Control Y, the last two letters of the alphabet. So when something goes wrong, simply press undo and continue to press undo until you're back to a happy place. If you wish to increase the levels of undo from 20, you can also do that by clicking on File in the ribbon, then going down to Options in the lower left here, and then you'll find if you go to Advanced that you have the option here, maximum number of undos, and the most you can take it up to is 99. I'm going to leave mine on 20 because I think that's sufficient. Also, if I take it up to 99, you may find that Visio's performance starts to slow down a little bit because it has to remember the last 99 things you've done in case you want to undo them. So I'm going to leave it on 20. But be aware you can change it. Now the other thing you can do is you can create a text block to add, say, a title. I'm going to first of all press Control A, which selects all of my shapes, and then I'm going to just press the down arrow on my keyboard to move them down in a very controlled fashion rather than use my mouse. And I'll put them about there. In fact, what I might do is center the drawing on the page. If I go Control A and then click this button, it will actually center the drawing exactly horizontally and vertically on the page. So that button's really useful to center the drawing, which we added in an earlier video. Now to add the title at the top, I want to add a text box, and on the Home tab in the Tools group, we use the button Text or Control 2. If I click Text and then just click somewhere at the top here, I could put Admission or Expected Admission, which is the title. As soon as I press Escape, I drop out of editing that text box. Now you may notice that your mouse still looks like the sort of mouse pointer that if you clicked, it would allow you to create more and more text boxes. So we want to get out of the text box tool and back to what they call the pointer tool. Up here in your ribbon in the Tools group, you don't want text, you want pointer. And the pointer tool then allows you to select things. So one thing you'll have to get used to with Visio is switching between the various tools. The pointer tool is the most popular tool because, as it says here, it's used to select, move, and resize objects. The text tool, when you click that, is to add a text shape or select existing text. So with the pointer tool, I'm now going to click on this text. I'm going to stretch it the full entire length of the page so I know it's perfectly centered horizontally, and I'm going to make the font size a lot bigger, so I'll grow it to about 24, and I'll resize so it sits perfectly, and I'll make it Arial. And I may even change the font size to black. And so there's my title or my text box at the very, very top. Sometimes we also want to pull text out of a shape and decide that it needs to be its own text box. So I'm going to click on this shape, given I've got my pointer tool on, and then I'm going to use this icon, which is called the text block. If you click the text block, you can now pull that text out of its shape, and it's now independent to its shape. I can also drag it back in and position it exactly where I want it, and then turn the pointer tool back on. So the text block, which the button differs between 2010 and 2016 in terms of its look, but it's actually designed for moving the text out of a shape if you ever need to do that. So I'd now like to save this file or drawing or diagram, and looking up here in the title bar at the very, very top, this file is currently called Drawing 2, and I want to save it as Health. Now I have two options. I could hit the Save button, or I could hit the Save As button. I'm going to go for the Save As button because then I get to say exactly what I want to save it as. I'll click this button. It'll ask me where do I want to put the file, and I'm just going to put it on my desktop, which I can choose on the left hand side. If you can't see it immediately on the left hand side, scroll up or down and you'll eventually find it. Now this file or drawing, I would like to give it the file name Health. So I'm just going to type in the file name field Health. And the file will be saved as a VSDX file. It may be saved as a VSD file if you're 2010. So VSD is a 2010 Visio file, and a VSDX is a 2016 Visio drawing. If you don't see the VSD or the VSDX, don't panic. It's just the way your windows are set up, but you will see the word Visio drawing. So save it as a Visio drawing called Health on the desktop and click Save. What I then see at the top of my screen in my title bar is the name of the file. So the name of the file is called Health. I'd also like to rename page 1, so I'm going to double click page 1 and just call it Admission. So page 1 in my Health file is called Admission.